Welcome to the Sugar Hill Podcast, where we focus our lens on the roots of our behaviors and talk about ways to improve our lives in the present, readying us for a journey of chasing our purpose in life. I am your host, Jeremy, author, coach, and speaker, and every day I wake up to help people operate at their highest potential through self-awareness. I hope you walk away with at least one thing you can implement every day to live the life you deserve. Today's episode will be a high-level breakdown of my first book in the Growing Peace and Purpose series, titled A Gift of Peace and Purpose, A Survivor's Journey. After listening to today's podcast, you will be able to identify if you are ready to work towards peace and purpose. It feels so good to be able to hold my first book, A Gift of Peace and Purpose, A Survivor's Journey. Writing this book grew into the Peace and Purpose series when I realized that what I was writing required more time and more specifics, so that way people who are trying to find peace and purpose have things that they can implement in their lives. The Peace and Purpose series is my gift to the world as a part of my purpose, which is to help people operate at their highest potential through self-awareness. Again, helping people realize that they are not their thoughts, their emotions, or the trauma that's happened to them, but the awareness that all of that is happening, the awareness that you are breathing, the awareness that you are listening to this podcast, the awareness that you are cold or you are warm, the awareness that you have thoughts that are running through your head. When you're able to identify that you are the awareness of those things, you create a space between what's happening in your life and you. And thus you can live life to your highest potential through that self-awareness. A Gift of Peace and Purpose was written right after a series of unfortunate but fortunate events. Really, it was my way of trying to heal and create something that others who have experienced trauma or just maybe looking for a different perspective could find peace and purpose in their lives. Maybe it's not them that the book was intended for, but someone who they feel might need the book. In the book, I break down different portions of my journey that I was going through and had foresight that I would go through and eventually get to. In our first 3 episodes of the Sugar Hill Podcast, we talked about attaining peace, identifying purpose, and how to heal the past. And I felt that it was important for us to lay that foundation so that way when we start breaking down this Peace and Purpose series, you have those 2 things, peace and purpose, to hold yourself accountable towards. And you know that up front, your past is going to come up, so that way you know how to deal with it. The Peace and Purpose series, as I stated, is ongoing, but the foundation is truly A Gift of Peace and Purpose, A Survivor's Journey, my journey as a survivor and how I found peace and purpose. It starts with the golden path, then the secret garden, the seed of you, what are you pouring, capacity to pour, and harvest of 1,000 generations. Each of those portions or phases within my ongoing journey or our ongoing journey require a lot of time to sit with yourself and process. So of course we can't go through all of that on this podcast, but just as a high-level overview, the golden path is really from the moment that you make a conscious decision to want more in life. The thing about the golden path is you say one thing and life hears it and responds through circumstances and people to mold and shape you for what you ask for, knowingly and unknowingly. Hopefully through that conscious choice of yours to do better or want more in life, you are open to endless possibility, because it is through divine chaos that life will truly make your ask happen. The Secret Garden is about finding a place within yourself that no one knows exists. I found the Secret Garden sitting on my porch, literally looking up at the stars and the moon and listening to the trees on my porch down in South Carolina, of course, with my citronella candle and a glass of wine. And I didn't realize it then, but pulling myself into the present moment through my senses really created a space that allowed me to hear and think clearly. The Secret Garden is a place that you can take wherever you go, literally. Sometimes I'm at work, or sometimes I'm around a bunch of people and I just close my eyes and imagine myself near the Secret Garden. The Secret Garden is so important because you need a place on this journey of peace and purpose to go without judgment. Go where you can be yourself. Go where you can talk to yourself. Be honest, be raw and honest, and tell the truth to yourself. A place that you can carry everywhere, regardless of who's around you or the time of day or place. You need that to be able to check your behaviors and say, you know what? I've been here before. I'm going to make a better decision. It's a place where you can peel off the layers of who you thought you were, which is why the seed of you is important to follow, recognizing this safe space. The seed of you suggests that you will always be what you are meant to be. How you arrive there is based on your decisions, and hopefully in the safety of the Secret Garden, you can get to your destination in the most efficient way possible. But again, we're human, so we have to give ourselves grace. Just like an apple seed will turn into an apple tree, just like an orange seed will turn into an orange tree, you have to allow who you are to come forth. And when you recognize that you are not the labels or the things that you aspire in life to achieve outside of your purpose, then your golden path illuminates and you can walk forward. You're never off course with your destination. You just tend to take different ways to get there. And that's why the Secret Garden is so important. The Secret Garden is something that will stay true, as important or critical to life, regardless of if you decide to walk down the golden path or not. I think the reason why the Secret Garden was so important for me, or so impactful for me, because it was the first time that I experienced peace and felt myself come alive. It was the first time that I was able to look at the lessons of life, look at my gifts and talents, and start to connect the dots. Really start to ask myself, why did I do this? Where did I get this from? How did I develop this way of thinking? I started to have the safe space to say, yes, this happened to me. It didn't define me, but it did happen. And it's because of the peace of the Secret Garden that I was able to see the lessons that were deep within the life circumstances that happened and with the people in my lives, and just really peel back the layers of, again, who I thought I was. But all of this is important because it helps you to identify what are you pouring. And it also helps you realize if you have the capacity to even pour. What are you pouring is all about identifying your gifts, right? When you are in the Secret Garden and you're allowing the seed of you to unfold, You're looking at the circumstances, you're looking at the people, you're looking at your gifts and talents. At the intersection of those things, you identify your purpose in life. You begin to see that when you operate in this purpose, not only does your life have a sense of ease about it, but the people that you pour your gift into, if they apply it consistently, their lives change. Of course, it's not your responsibility to make sure that they apply it consistently. You're just there to plant the seed, right? A God seed for later on or other life circumstances to bloom. What are you pouring is your gift to the world. It's your recognition of being a puzzle piece to a larger puzzle, a part to a larger whole. You have to identify what are you pouring as a gift, so that way you fulfill your reason for being here. But it's also important to know that we're human. We have a limited capacity. We can't just pour and pour and pour. You have to have boundaries established. You have to know when the circumstance and the person, including yourself, is ready to receive what's being poured. And even in reverse, when people try to pour into you, if you don't have the capacity to handle these things, especially if you don't have peace defined in your life, then what is the meaning of our actions? It's really nothing, right? And again, the secret garden is so important because it creates that boundary that you realize when something's off, I need to retreat within myself. I need to figure something out because this isn't it. And hopefully through continuous practice of identifying the circumstances or the lessons that come in the form of circumstances and people, you realize that when you pour your gift, you can literally allow life to rise up to meet you, and it will give you the harvest of 1,000 generations. The ability to reap the harvest of the seeds that you've been sowing. No, it may not yield an immediate return, but it will happen. When you chase your purpose, everything follows. When you chase everything, life will bring you sorrow. It's so important that you chase your purpose, because not only will life have a certain ease about it, but all of your needs will be met, because life is seeing that you are honoring your reason for being. Why would it make life difficult, or why would it make your human experience difficult if you're honoring the reason that you're being here? Of course, life is way more complex, and it is impossible to comprehend divinity and the chaos that it operates in. But I hope through this gift to the world that people or readers can find inner peace and the purpose for their life. This has been the Sugar Hill Podcast. This is Jeremy signing off.